Whether you like movies or enjoy the art of filmmaking, chances are you've heard of the term auteur. Now before we get into examples of auteur directors, we need to actually know what the definition is. A filmmaker whose personal influence and artistic control over a movie are so great that the filmmaker is regarded as the author of the movie. But what does this exactly mean? Every director has a different style when it comes to making films. And when you notice these styles, you start to associate them with the filmmaker. For those who aren't familiar with this, it might be a little bit easier to look at some examples. There's a lot of examples when it comes to Christopher Nolan. You'll know you're watching a Christopher Nolan film when it comes to the score, his use of exposition, and using camera techniques like this one. In almost every Christopher Nolan film, there's almost always a dolly movement pushing towards one of the characters. Switching over to Wes Anderson, you'll be able to tell you're watching one of his films by his camera movements, his set design, framing, his use of score, color, and so much more. Wes Anderson is probably the best example when it comes to auteur directors, mainly because his style is so defined. Tarantino is another good example. Every single one of his films has violence in it.
Say adios to your huevos.
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped that?
What the fuck's happening?
Oh, man, man. Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that?
He also uses long takes all the time. But also keep in mind, if you ever see feet in any film, you're probably watching a Tarantino movie. What a freaking weirdo. There's also Stanley Kubrick when it comes to color, framing, and his use of wide lenses. These aspects are what sets the tone for each of his films. And the last one I'll touch on is Yorgos Lanthimos. Yorgos Lanthimos created The Lobster and The Killing of a Sacred Deer. In both of these horror films, he loves to use these subtle zooms with the camera, which gives an eerie feeling to the films.
Ever since your husband killed my father, he's been flirting with my mom. Constantly flirting. To be honest, she's got feelings for him too. She thinks he's very nice hands. Truth is, he's beautiful hands. All doctors have clean, nice, beautiful hands. So I told her, I said, I have no problem with it if you want to go ahead. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. Very nice guy.
This zoom technique is actually what gave me inspiration for what I used in one of my own short films. Now I know I skipped over quite a few directors: Alfred Hitchcock, David Lynch, John Ford, Steven Spielberg, David Fincher, Greta Gerwig, Orson Welles, Spike Lee, Paul Thomas Anderson, Bong Joon-ho. There's so many that this video would be over 3 hours long. But with all of this, there's a question to be asked. What's the point? While yes, the director often gets credit for the entire film, we shouldn't forget that there are thousands of people in the credits that also took part in creating these films. Auteur theory is supposed to help you or the audience understand the art form in filmmaking and how there are different influences on different directors. So all that to say, don't forget that movies are collaborative and many people worked on turning the film into what it is. The director has the main vision for the film, but shouldn't universally get all of the credit as so many are involved from behind the scenes. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this helped better your understanding on auteur directors. See you in the next one.